He
doesn't
knows
know.
how to
Oh, sorry.
Alright, graphic design. What exactly is graphic design? To me, design is a bridge between words and pictures. To me, it shows you exactly what it is without having to use words. So an example of this is outer space. To me, whenever I was in the 4th grade, I didn't know what I was actually learning. So my teacher had to sit down with me and tell me exactly word for word what exactly outer space was, which is what we were learning at the time. I had to sit there and draw everything she was talking about. And in doing so, I was able to learn about outer space without actually having to read it. I think that's a really great thing, is about visual learning, and that's what graphic design is. So another thing about design is color theory. Color theory is in a lot of things that you see. You may not even know it. But look at this. There's Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, and Cane's. What do they all have in common? The colors of their logo. They have reds, oranges, and yellows. Reds evoke a sense of love and lust, while oranges evoke a sense of urgency, and yellows evoke a sense of happiness. So while you're getting your food, it's being quick, and you're being happy about it. And that's something all designers know, is that colors go into your psyche, and they know exactly what's going to evoke that emotion without you even knowing it. So what exactly makes a good design? Now, there's a couple of things that go into it. One of them are the principles of design. There's balance, proximity, alignment, contrast, space, and repetition. An example of this is Tumbleweed Textiles and Verizon. So, what makes Verizon such a bad logo? Now, keep in mind, everyone knows what Verizon is. They've seen it, they've heard all the commercials, they know, can you hear me now? Now, some people may not even know what Tumbleweed Textiles is. But what makes this such a bad logo is that if you take away the words Verizon Wireless, would you still know that that check mark is Verizon Wireless? Probably not. But if you look at Tumbleweed Textiles, you'll see it has every element of design in it. It has balance, it has proximity, space, alignment, and repetition. It has everything. And there's no reason as to why the check mark on Verizon Wireless is at that angle, why is it red, and why is it a gradient. It also has imbalance, as meaning the check mark is all on the left side, leaving the rest of the logo completely useless. Now, some of the interviews I've done this year. I've done a total of 5, and the first interview I had was with Miss Emily Holt. I went on this interview with another ISM student by the name of Andrew Woodward. What exactly she told me was something really extraordinary. She told me I became a freelance designer, meaning I do designs on my own, and not with an agency, because she wanted to create designs for herself. I thought at first this might be a little selfish to think, you're creating all your designs for yourself. But what I found was that every design she made, she loved and she was proud of. And with an agency, you don't always get the availability to do that. You're always going to be creating designs for someone else, and you're always going to be giving 100% of yourself to someone else. I think that was also interesting that she told me about that. The second interview I had was with Mr. Zach McKimmons. He told me about print and web design. I met with him at an agency called Minutemen Press in Addison. Now, something very interesting about our interview was that he took me in the back and showed me a room filled with paper. Now, some of you might not even think paper is very interesting. To me, I thought it was great. It was every single kind of weight, color, and texture you could think of. And I saw so much potential in what I could do with this. The third interview I had was with Mr. Mac Hanning. I met him at Publicist Hawkeye in downtown Dallas. On the immediate side of him and his team, they greeted me with a rave. They put on a disco ball and lights, and they said, "Welcome." Now, besides this, he was also an amazing designer. What he did was he showed me exactly the creation of everything he does. He went through the entire process of design and every logo he's ever done. He showed me exactly how to use Photoshop and some of the shortcuts to use Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop as well. Something else he told me I thought was very interesting was that he said, high school is just the fundamentals, and what you really need to learn is experience. You said you always need to create, whether it's on your own time or on someone else's time. You should always be creating. The fourth interview I had was with Mr. Ryan Chen. I met him in downtown Plano. And it was very interesting because he was the only person out of all of my interviews that pulled out a sheet of paper and a pencil. And together, we actually created a logo for the Wizard of Oz. Now, I can't exactly show you this logo because it's still with this agency. but it was very amazing and I really loved that experience. The fifth interview I had was with Mr. Justin Childress. I met him in downtown Dallas as well, and he invited me to his office. And I say office because it wasn't really an office. What it was the home office. He called it the office. And what his whole company did was it created out an entire office inside of a home. They actually rented a home for their whole company. They said it inspired creativity within all of their members, and it showed them that they don't have to be stuck inside of a box. So what I took away from this was something really cool. I learned how to always be creative. I learned how to, do what you love, whether or not someone else tells you you shouldn't do it. And what I actually did was I created something for you. So whenever I was, about a year ago, I went out to downtown Dallas, and I took this picture. It's just a simple coffee mug. And what I did with it is I integrated photography into design. And I created this geometrical figure. I wasn't exactly happy with it, so I took it a step further. What I did with it was I created a hypothetical store. I created a hypothetical coffee shop. And I created 2 logos for it. I called it Cafe Geo because I liked the geometrical aspect of it. Now, these are not fully developed ideas, but they're still in the works, and they're still in the creation of it, and I'm still learning how to do design. But so far, I'm really happy with it. And this also feeds into my original work. My original work this year will be, I will go to elementary, middle school, and high school students and sit down with them, tell them about the principles of design, and show them exactly what goes into every design that should be designed. And together we're going to create a package design, and from this I'll collect the data and be able to see how to target each specific audience. So this also feeds into my ISM journey. Whenever I started here in ISM, I didn't even think I was going to get in. I'd actually already had a whole other plan set out. But for some reason, Mr. Weissong saw potential in me, and the first day I entered here, I was more terrified of Mr. Weissong than I was of Donald Trump becoming president. So what I found out very quickly is that ISM is built of 3 things: hard work, late nights, and a lot of challenges. But overall, I think ISM is really worth it. And I think that with everything that we've done so far, I think I'm very excited to see what we all come to. And I'm very excited to see every single project and grow with you alongside you. And that's why I also want to tell you to never stop creating. You should never stop creating in anything that you're doing. It doesn't have to be an artistic field. But I think you should keep in mind is that you should always be creating in your field, and that you should always be progressing yourself and trying to become better. Thank you.